Okay, I have to be honest. I was reading the prep for this deep dive, and I literally stopped walking on the sidewalk. I just froze.
Let me guess.
Because there's a statistic in here that if it's true, it basically means my entire life is a lie.
I think I know exactly which number stopped you. It's the 95% rule, isn't it?
The 95% rule. Neuroscience estimates that 95% of our brain activity is unconscious.
Yeah.
95%. That leaves what, like 5% for the part of me that thinks it's making the decisions?
It's a very humbling figure when you first see it.
Humbling. It's terrifying. I always thought of myself as, the captain of my ship. I'm gripping the wheel, steering my life.
Right.
But according to David Eagleman, one of our sources today, the conscious mind isn't the captain at all. He calls it a stowaway on a transatlantic steamship.
That is such a powerful image, isn't it? The idea that you're taking credit for this massive journey.
Yeah, I'm pointing at the map saying, I did this.
While completely ignoring the massive engines and the crew working like crazy right under your feet.
Exactly. I'm just the guy on the deck, enjoying the breeze, thinking I'm in charge.
Well, that massive engine room is exactly what we're here to talk about. Today is all about unpacking that black box, the subconscious mind.
Okay.
We've got a whole stack of research here, from clinical hypnotherapy notes to some really deep psychological studies.
And I want to be clear for everyone listening, this isn't just woo-woo magic stuff. We're talking biology today.
Strictly biology and psychology. Our mission is to figure out how this operating system actually works, why it sometimes seems to sabotage us, and this is the fascinating part, the specific factual techniques you can use to actually reprogram it.
Because if we're only running on 5% conscious control, we better make sure the other 95% is on our side.
Exactly.
But before the hacks, we have to define the players. Because from the research, it seems like we're not just one self, are we?
No, not really, scientifically speaking. The literature points to a duality. Think of it as two different modes of being in the same body.
Yeah.
First, you have the cognitive self. This is the mirror, the logical part, the narrator.
That's the stowaway. The voice in my head right now wondering if I left the stove on.
Precisely. But then you have the emotional self. This one is deeply connected to your subconscious and your body's fight or flight response. This system never sleeps. It's controlling your heartbeat, your digestion, and here's the key. It takes everything literally.
So we have a system that keeps me alive, beats my heart, but has the emotional maturity of a toddler that believes every single thing it hears.
That is actually a very, very good way to put it.
Yeah.
And understanding that difference is the first step to taking back the wheel.
Okay, let's talk hardware then, because I think most people hear subconscious and they picture like a dusty old filing cabinet.
A storage room, yeah. But that's not quite right. It's much more active. The research from Gail Mara suggests looking at it like a massive multitasking computer processor.
A processor? So it's not just storing things, it's running things.
All the time. Think about your conscious mind. Can you truly multitask?
I'd like to think I can. I can listen to music and check my email.
But you're not actually doing them at the same time. You're rapid switching. Your focus is just jumping back and forth really, really fast.
Oh.
The subconscious, though, it actually handles millions bits of information simultaneously.
Like what? What is it doing for me right now?
Right now, it's processing the temperature of this room, the hum from the lights, the pressure of the chair you're sitting on, your blood sugar, your pupil dilation, all while you're just focused on my voice. It creates your reality.
So it's the always-on processor.
It has to be. And this connects directly to our physiology, specifically the autonomic nervous system, or ANS.
Okay, the ANS. This felt like the bridge between the psychology and the biology. This is the fight or flight stuff, right?
Partially. The ANS has two main modes. First is the sympathetic state. That's your fight or flight. It's tied to that emotional self.
So stress, anxiety.
Exactly. Survival-oriented, impulsive. Blood rushes to your muscles.
And the other side
is the parasympathetic state.
Yeah.
The rest and digest mode. This is where your cognitive self, the logical you, can actually reflect and think clearly.
This feels really important. So if I'm stressed out, if I'm in that sympathetic state, my ability to think clearly just goes away.
You literally lose access to your higher cognitive self. The blood flow in your brain actually shifts. The primal emotional self takes over. You're running on software designed to help you escape a lion, not to handle a tough email from your boss.
That explains so much about why I say things I regret when I'm angry. I'm literally not me.
You're the engine room. The captain's been locked in his cabin.
But here's where it got really trippy for me. The idea that our sense of self isn't even fixed. I was reading about this experiment, the rubber hand illusion.
Ah, yes, it's a classic. Absolutely wild.
So for anyone who hasn't heard of this, they hide your real hand, and they put a rubber hand in front of you. Then they start stroking both hands, the real one and the fake one, at the exact same time.
Right, so your brain is seeing one thing, but feeling the same thing somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it has to make sense of that conflicting data.
And what it does is it claims the rubber hand. You start to feel like the plastic hand is actually part of your body.
Yeah.
And the craziest part, if someone takes a hammer and swings it at the rubber hand, you flinch, your heart rate spikes.
Because your subconscious has accepted it as self. It triggers a protection response.
That is terrifying, but it's also kind of promising.
It's incredibly promising. It shows that what we call reality or self is really just an informed hallucination. It's a construct.
And if my brain can adopt a rubber hand in 5 minutes,
It means your self-concept, whether you think you're confident or shy, a success or a failure, is also just a construct. And constructs can be changed.
okay, so that brings us to the glitch in the system. If we can reprogram it, why is it so hard? Why does my subconscious seem to want me to be anxious or to self-sabotage?
It usually comes down to a language barrier between the captain and the engine room. We said before that the subconscious is literal. It doesn't understand nuance, and critically, it does not understand the word don't.
The pink elephant rule.
Exactly. If I tell you right now, don't think of a pink elephant, what just happened?
I immediately pictured a pink elephant.
Because to process the command, don't think of X, your brain first has to bring up the image of X. So when people say things like, I don't want to fail, or I don't want to be poor,
The subconscious just hears fail and poor.
it focuses on the dominant image. It's like a GPS. You can't tell your GPS where you don't want to go. You have to give it a destination.
And on top of that, the note said it only understands the present, no past or future.
Right. So if you say, I will be happy, the subconscious hears that as a future event, something that's not for now. It keeps happiness always just out of reach.
We're feeding the machine the wrong code. We're typing don't crash instead of drive straight. But what about fears that feel built in, like public speaking? That feels primal.
It does feel primal, but the sources suggest it's almost entirely learned. It's a fascinating fact, actually. We're only born with 2 natural fears.
Wait, really? Just 2?
Just 2. The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises.
So, spiders, rejection, going broke.
All learned. Every other fear is programmed into us over time, usually when we're kids.
That's actually really liberating, because if I learned it,
You can unlearn it. A lot of that fear comes from something called the spotlight effect. We think everyone is constantly watching and judging us, but the reality is that 90% of that is a lie. Everyone else is way too busy worrying about themselves.
no one is looking at you. That's the most comforting thing I've heard all day.
It's true.
Okay, so we know the machine is literal. It's running on old fear software, and we're bad at giving it instructions. How do we start the hack? How do we reprogram?
Well, Joseph Murphy uses this great metaphor. He says the conscious mind should be the watchman at the gate. Its job is to protect the subconscious from negative impressions.
But we're terrible watchmen. We're either sleeping on the job or, worse, holding the gate open for the bad guys.
We are. Every time we say, I'm so clumsy, or I'll never be able to afford that, the subconscious just says, okay, message received, and it makes it your reality.
So we need better security.
We need auto-suggestion. You have to consciously feed the subconscious positive ideas because it can't reject them if the watchman lets them through. It just accepts what you feel to be true. Think about the classic sugar pill example.
Ah, the placebo effect.
It's classic for a reason. A doctor gives a patient a sugar pill, says it's powerful medicine, and the patient recovers. Why?
Because they believed it would work.
Exactly. The subconscious accepted the belief of healing. The pill did nothing, but the belief was active. The subconscious managed the biology to match the instruction it was given.
But here's the catch. You can't just stand in a mirror and lie, right? If I say I am a millionaire when I have $5 in my account, my conscious mind, my watchman, is going to scream, no, you're not.
That's the conflict. And that's why the timing is so important. You need to use what Murphy calls the sleepy state. You have to catch the subconscious when the watchman is off duty.
This is the brainwave stuff. This feels like the actual how-to.
It is. Just before you fall asleep and just as you wake up, your brain enters a very drowsy, receptive state. These are the alpha and theta brainwaves. The critical, analytical part of your mind is quiet.
So the watchman is taking a nap.
The watchman is drowsy. And in that state, you don't try to force a thought. You just gently repeat a phrase, almost like a lullaby.
Like a lullaby. I like that. The source had a specific one for breaking habits, something like, I am completely free from this habit. Harmony and peace of mind reign supreme.
And you just repeat that slowly, gently, for 5 or 10 minutes as you drift off. The key is to do it without any strain or effort. The subconscious works on trust, not force.
It's the difference between shouting at a kid to go to sleep and singing them to sleep.
That's a perfect analogy. Force creates resistance. Relaxation allows absorption.
And it's not just words, right? It's pictures, too. The mental movie. There was a story in the notes about a watchmaker.
Ah, yes. The watchmaker who lost the use of his hands.
His entire livelihood was gone. Doctors told him it was permanent. But every night, in that sleepy state, he visualized himself working again.
And here's the crucial distinction. He didn't visualize trying to work. He visualized the result. He felt the tools in his hands. He saw the finished watch. He felt the satisfaction. He lived in the end state.
And eventually his hands recovered.
He gave the engine room a clear blueprint. He bypassed the conscious doubt and programmed the result directly into his biology. This is why stories and metaphors work so well.
Because logic is the conscious mind's language, but stories are the subconscious mind's language.
Exactly. It's why dreams are so symbolic. If you frame your goals as a story, with you as the hero, your subconscious engages on a much deeper level than with a simple command.
Right, like Robert Louis Stevenson. He claimed his little people wrote his books for him while he slept.
He was basically outsourcing his writer's block to his subconscious, trusting the processor to run the program.
Okay, let's apply this to something really specific that the notes brought up. Wealth. The money block.
A very, very common area for subconscious sabotage.
But how does my subconscious stop me from making money? That feels like an external thing.
It seems external, but it's all perception. Many people consciously want wealth, but subconsciously they have a block.
Like thinking that money is the root of all evil.
Or that poverty is noble, or rich people are greedy. If your deep, silent belief is money is dirty, your subconscious, which wants to protect you, will actively push opportunities away. You can't attract what you condemn.
That makes so much sense. If my brain thinks money is a threat, my internal GPS is going to steer me away from it at every turn.
So you have to change the association.
Yeah.
You have to convince the watchman that wealth is safe, that's a good thing. Murphy suggests affirmations like, money is constantly circulating in my life. I use it for good.
And there was another technique, the gratitude loop.
Yes. The thank you technique. It's fascinating. When you say thank you for something you don't technically have yet, you create a belief loop. Gratitude implies the event has already happened.
Right, you don't thank the mailman before the package arrives.
So when you express gratitude for wealth or health before it gets there, your subconscious, which is literal and present-based, accepts it as a current fact. It thinks, oh, this must have already happened. And it goes to work to align your reality with that belief.
It's like hacking the timeline. You're thanking the system for a delivery that hasn't arrived, so the system scrambles to make it real.
In a way, yes. It removes the energy of wanting, which implies lack, and replaces it with the energy of having.
So we have the operating system, the bugs, the programming language, we've got the sleepy state for long-term change, but what about in-the-moment stress?
Right.
You're about to walk on stage, your boss is yelling, you don't have time for a lullaby. There was a mantra for this.
All is well.
All is well.
Yeah.
Everything is working out for my highest good. Out of this situation, only good will come.
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But think about what it does physiologically.
Break it down.
In a crisis, you're in that sympathetic fight-or-flight state. Your heart is pounding. Repeating all is well is a conscious signal to shift the autonomic nervous system back toward the calm parasympathetic state.
It's a manual override switch.
It allows your cognitive self, your logical mind, to take the wheel again. You can't solve a complex problem when you're in survival mode. You have to calm the biology first. You're telling the engine room to stand down.
This brings me to one last thought from the research, the idea that the mind is essentially ageless.
That's right. Neuroplasticity shows that the brain can create new connections at any age. The idea that you're too old to change is ironically just another negative belief you've programmed in.
So you're only as old as your thoughts.
Ideally, if you maintain a mindset of curiosity and learning, your brain structure will support that.
So here's my challenge to you listening and to myself. If our reality is just a mental film that we keep replaying, if 95% of our life is run by this subconscious program, why are we watching the same old reruns of fear and doubt?
That is the question, isn't it? The watchman at the gate has the power to change the real.
So tonight, before you go to sleep, when you're in that drowsy drift-off state, don't replay the stress of the day. Try swapping out the reel. Visualize the result you want.
Trust the machine.
Yeah.
And let your subconscious do the heavy lifting while you rest.
See you in the deep end.